What's up everyone? Alex here. I had fond memories playing the original Gungrave on the PS2. Created by Trigun creator Yasuhiro Naito, the game spawned a 26-episode anime, as well as a sequel called Gungrave Overdose. More than a decade later, Gungrave reemerges with Gungrave VR, a follow-up to the original PS2 games. Many fans, including myself, have been looking forward to this game, but how does it actually play in VR? Let's lock and load those Cerberus pistols and find out, as we review Gungrave VR hours later. Gungrave VR's gameplay is mostly lifted from the original PS2 games, but with a few different twists. You'll be moving your headset around to aim a reticle in the middle of the screen, and pressing the R2 button to fire Graves' Cerberus pistols. Graves' pistols never run out of ammo, but they do overheat, which you can cool off by pressing the L1 button. You'll also be able to slowly rotate the camera using the right analog stick, but this does so in an abrupt camera shift motion, which is prevalent in most VR titles. Grave can also dodge roll, slow down time, use his coffin as a melee weapon, and deliver powerful attacks, much like the game's predecessors. New to Gungrave VR are stages that feature arcade-style shooter sections, where Grave stays stationary in the middle of a platform as he attacks multiple enemies. If this new gameplay addition just made you do a double take, it's because Gungrave VR seems to want to exist in a world where its PS2 games are still a standard for quality while trying to offer an immersive VR experience. The first-person arcade sections don't feel right in a game where the third-person gameplay should be the star. Gone are your options to move around and dodge in these sections. Instead, you're forced to shoot down everything and anything on screen. Unfortunately, this doesn't mean that Gungrave VR's third-person sections are any better. Much of the design of the third-person encounters in Gungrave VR are often dictated by what would work if the game were a full-fledged, non-VR game rather than designing it around the medium. For example, it's very common for enemies to try and rush towards Grave from a variety of different directions, forcing you to try and move him backward, only to get trapped on an invisible wall or get wedged in between enemies. This poses a huge number of problems from a motion sickness standpoint, as you're forced to make abrupt head movements to aim your target reticle or to even see what's behind you. The camera rotation using the right analog stick is also unbearably slow, and for a fast-paced action game, this design is at an odds with the kind of game this is. It also doesn't help that the target reticle tends to disappear from time to time, or that your enemies are enveloped in smoke-like special effects that can cover much of the screen. In a game where balancing what and when to shoot, and when to cool off your pistols, it's criminal to have to guess if you're actually hitting someone or not. Probably one of the most egregious design decisions that exacerbate the problem for motion sickness is the placement of the game's health and beat gauges. Instead of integrating these elements into the reticle somehow, these UI elements sit slightly above the floor, forcing players to take their eyes away from the action or even move their headset so that they could quickly take a peek at their current situation. Again, rapid head movements in VR are not good. Despite my grievances when it comes to the gameplay, there are often times that I marvel at the attention put onto Graves' character model. There's a few enemies here and there whose designs I've also liked, only to be quickly pulled back by the quality of the rest of the game. The story is very minimal. The beginning of the game just shows text with no artwork, and merely serves as an excuse as to why you're doing all of this. You can finish Gungrave VR in a couple of hours, and you can probably spend a little bit more time to rank better. I would have vastly preferred it if the whole game was played in third person throughout, as the arcade-style gameplay interspersed in between is just not what I want to play when I think of Gungrave. Gungrave VR is a game of could've, would've, should'ves. It could have been a great experience, and it would have been, had the developers minded what it actually means to make a VR experience. They should have taken some time to make sure that all of its elements are firing on all cylinders too, as Gungrave VR could have delivered an unforgettable experience that would have helped usher in more third-person action games into the medium. Instead, Gungrave VR feels like it was made with the most minimal of efforts, and this saddens me as a longtime fan of the series. Thanks for watching this review. If you found this video to be informative, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Then, hit that bell icon to be notified of my latest videos. Also, follow me on Twitter at MyBacklogBattle for the latest updates on upcoming videos, or to just chat about video games. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful gaming week.